All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. We are doing a little co production here between Anne and the DVR Podcast Network covering Netflix's Sirens. Today, we're going to be talking about episodes one and two only. Anne and
Only.
I, yes, we're very strict. We have only watched those two episodes, so we don't know any spoilers. I know that this series, again, Sirens on Netflix, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, has a contentious, controversial ending that we do not know yet. So we'll get to that point because it's best for us to go in spoiler free so we can discuss what we think might happen, our theories, our thoughts freely without the worry that you will be spoiled. So the first two episodes only. My name's Axel. You can check us out at dvrpodcast.com. Subscribe to our podcast daily DVR. And with me is Anne. Anne, why don't you tell everyone about yourself and where they can find you?
Hi, my name is Anne. I know Axel because we talked about White Lotus, gosh, a month ago. I don't know when.
Yeah.
But I have a YouTube channel. I'm a designer. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about design from movies and TV shows and, what they did to create the characters through the design and how you could recreate it yourself. So I am excited to dive into the Sirens design when I get to it. But as Axel said, we've only done episodes one and two, so you're safe to listen if you haven't gone further yet. So yeah, Axel and I connected over White Lotus, and I thought it'd be fun to cover Sirens together.
Yes. Yeah. And this is very cool. I'm very glad because you never know when you pick a show and you say, hey, let's cover it. And then you watch the first couple minutes, maybe the first 10 minutes, and you're like, oh my God, this is awful. What the hell?
Yes.
I'm going to have to write Anne an email and tell her I hate this show. But that didn't happen. I mean, just to start off, what were your impressions? I loved the first two episodes. I thought they were interesting. There were some tonal things we'll talk about, but what were your impressions of these first two episodes?
Yeah, now that I've finished the first two, I like it and I'm invested. But it's funny you mentioned the first few minutes. I have a very low like cringe tolerance, and something about the opening with Julianne Moore with the bird, I started to worry like, oh, are these really big talented actors in something that's going to feel a little forced? Do you know what I mean? That I was worried about that. But once you write it out, now you're invested. So I'm definitely curious where things are going to go. I also love a character like Julianne Moore where you're like, is she good? Is she bad? Where is she going to end up? Is the husband going to actually be like the quote unquote bad one?
Yeah,
So I think that mystery keeps me going.
yeah. I the bird thing in the beginning I found very interesting. I love Julianne Moore. I think that she has such an ability to be super creepy or cruel or like the nicest mom or caretaker that ever existed. Like she can go from zero to whatever, 1,000 on
Mm-hmm.
that level. And sometimes, and I think in this show you see it too, she can sometimes have the ability to do that in the same instance almost, right? Like she
Right.
goes from seeming like she's so caring and so kind and nice to just really creepy. She's gonna murder you as soon as you like look away from her. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's fascinating. The bird thing was a little weird. I think tonally, that's the kind of stuff that I had to get used to, right?
Yeah.
Because this is billed as kind of like a dark comedy or a dramedy, right? And whenever
Mm-hmm.
that happens, the tone of things it tests you, especially in the first episode. I felt
Mm-hmm.
by the second episode they had worked a lot of that out,
Yeah.
and our characters I felt were so well fleshed out that I was very willing to accept the journey that we were on
Mm-hmm.
because of that. So I mean, obviously, our main character Megan Fahey Devon is where we really kind of begin and end. This is her kind of story that we're watching, but she's
Mm-hmm.
also challenging herself, you know?
Mm-hmm. I always am critical of familial relationships and if they feel authentic. And something to me about that first scene between her and her father just felt like they didn't feel like father daughter to me in that scene. Or like even still her and her sister. I feel like the best chemistry relationship is like Julianne Moore and Simone right now. Do you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
feels the
yeah.
most like enmeshed than the siblings or father daughter relationships.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so Devin and Simone's father, Bruce, who we meet very quickly after Devin gets out of jail, right?
Yeah.
He's acting kind of crazy. We don't know. Okay, maybe he's drunk, he's old. We see the place is kind of run down, but then we find out that he is actually suffering from dementia, right?
Right. Right.
Um, Now that actor is Bill Camp, who is uh, in everything now, and I love. Most recently, he was in the Jake Gyllenhaal Apple TV version of what was that again? The Juror, or I can't
Oh, I
remember
didn't
what
see
show it
it.
was. Anyway, it was what it was. Oh no, it was the old Harrison Ford movie, Suspicious. Oh, gosh, I can. You know what? My old age. This is why I really
I'm not
need a
always helpful with these
producer.
things.
Oh no, it's okay because usually I have Andy with us, who Andy knows remembers everything, and I always forget everything. But anyway, it was a remake of the Apple TV. I'm trying to stall as I look it up on IMDb. I'm about to get it, so this stalling is going to work out, and then I'm going to get excited when I say presumed innocent. That was it.
Okay.
Presumed innocent, right? And Bill Camp played the lawyer, and he was the night of on HBO. I think that was about 6 or 7 years ago. That brought him. All of a sudden, people realized, oh wow, who is this guy? And then he's been getting, but
Mm-hmm.
he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So this setup is like this didn't seem anything kind of new, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's a little she we very quickly can understand who Devin is, kind of what her situation is. And then the she we learn about her on again, off again boyfriend
Right.
who is taking care of her dad. We see her job there. What is she making? Falafels, I think, right?
Yeah. Which actually I appreciate that they explained what was happening with the dad at home. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
people like leave home for weeks in a movie and you're like, but
Yep.
what about the cat? Or like whatever it was. They explain what's going on, however
Yep.
imperfect it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
I
that
mean,
too.
she traveled 17 hours to get to this place with like
Yeah.
no food or money seemingly or sleep.
Well, that's what I mean by tone, right?
Yeah.
What was your what was your immediate impressions of her and that decision? Because it all happens, I think within like the first 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes of the show.
Mhm.
She's out of jail. We find out that her dad's there. She finds the basket,
Mhm.
the edible
Yeah.
arrangement. Which, have you ever had an edible arrangement before, Ann?
I have. Yes.
What's your review on edible
They're very
arrangements?
expensive.
They
So I
are.
think they are. Yeah. So I think it was the perfect impersonal but expensive gift
Yeah.
to give from Simone. And I bet it was really heavy for her to
Yeah.
carry that
That's
far.
what I was thinking
Like so
too.
heavy.
It
I
does, yeah.
actually I respected her willingness to carry it that far.
Yeah, me
Like I
too.
think it tells you a lot about who she is in a short amount of time.
That I agree with you too, right?
Yeah.
I think that the edible arrangement is a metaphor and actually did help me understand the character.
Mhm.
And throughout the first episode, which is a lot more has a lot more classic pratfalls, she's sneaking around, she's falling on the ground a lot, right? She's
Yeah.
carrying the basket.
Yeah.
She's saying "fuck you" to the dad who looks like he just got out of church, or he's going to the nice
Oh
island,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
right? She's like, "What the fuck?" I mean, first of all, I would have eaten more of the edible arrangement
Yes.
myself because they are
Yes.
delicious.
And it would
But
make it lighter too.
yeah, what that's a great point, right? Like you brought your lunch with you, you eat it,
Yeah.
it makes your bag lighter. But they are incredibly pretentious. That's how I felt. I always feel that edible arrangements are pretentious. It's like, I'm not going to just send you flowers. I'm going to send you some kind of faux flower thing, but also you can eat it. And it's fruit, which is making you feel bad about yourself that you don't eat well enough. You know?
Well, they're also, and don't get me in trouble. They're also inherently so wasteful because to
Yeah.
make flowers out of fruit, they're just throwing away all this fruit.
Yes.
So I think that's
Great
part
point.
of the rich people wasting money and
Yeah.
resources commentary. But I
That is a
think,
great point.
yeah, it shows how angry she was. Like she was
Yes.
so
Yep.
committed to the point that she was going to make that she was
Exactly.
going to carry it all that way. Yeah, which I
And that,
respect.
yeah, and that's why I buy her behavior. Her off like Devin to me is an interesting character because right away I love the actress, and as
Hmm.
we both recognize her from White Lotus, a bunch of other things. She's been in a lot of stuff, and I
Hmm.
think this is one of I would have to look back at her whole body of work, but I think this is really her biggest starring vehicle that she's had in her career, where she is
She,
out there in front.
oh, where she's in front.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
as
Like
far as I
she's
know. Yeah.
yeah, she's been in big stuff, but I think this is her thing. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, even though, and if you look at the picture, Julianne Moore is in the center,
Yeah.
but that goes along with the show. It goes along with the fact that she should have top billing. She is an A-list actress who we've known for, 30 years.
Hmm.
But really, Megan Fahey is the star of this show,
Hmm. Yeah,
right? I'm trying to
for
look
sure.
to
Well,
see what
I feel like
else.
it's always the outsider that is the
Yeah,
star in these
yeah.
things, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's funny talking about how she looked traveling, versus her sisters trying to look all perfect. So that's a facade. It's almost like Devin not looking perfect is another facade. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm real and I don't care what you
Yes.
think, so I'm just going to be messy. They're just
That
opposite sides of the
is,
same thing.
Ann, you should do a podcast because you have great insight into shit. I'm telling you. No, you're
what
absolutely correct. That's
But
what I
what
was going to
bothered
say.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, about her character is then she gets a dress and then she can do her hair and makeup perfectly. It's like, when did you have the time to learn how to do that? When are you doing that in your
Yeah.
normal life?
Well, but as we said too before we started, we were talking a little bit about how she is gorgeous and she's kind
Yes.
of playing down, right? Like
Yeah.
like it's only after we're doing both episodes so we can spoil. In the second episode, when she gets dressed up and everyone's like, "You look amazing," and like I said, I was like, she looked amazing when she arrived there with the eye
Yeah.
makeup and the leather jacket. Like she looked great, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I mean, I don't. That's just who she is. So she carries that with her as her
Mm-hmm.
character, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that is part of the character, right? Because look at the way she can manipulate the falafel guy,
Yeah.
right?
Or Morgan. Yeah.
Exact. Right. Look at the way she's a neck licker, and when you're a neck licker,
That
right?
was,
See, that's the kind of stuff though that I bought, right? Like at
yeah.
first, I didn't get it. I was a little off. I was like, what's the tone with this? Is this going to be the type of show where she just acts a fool in front of rich people the whole time? It's getting a little annoying. I actually liked Simone a lot more than Devin in the first episode
Yeah. I can
because
see that.
my heart went out to Simone. When we meet her, we're first introduced to her. She's with the guy from It's Always Sunny in
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Yeah. Who's
What's his
hard to
name?
dislike,
Yeah,
honestly.
I know, right? What's his name? Glenn Howerton? Is that his name?
It's something multisyllable like that. I
Yes,
don't.
I believe it is. Um, I felt immediately a kind of also like I guess I respect, maybe it's my own personal, like we don't have to get into my own family history here. Yes, it's Glenn Howerton, I was correct, who plays Ethan. Um, my own personal history, but I've always said this. I say this to my son sometimes because Nirvana's back in vogue now. Everyone loves
Mm-hmm.
Nirvana again.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the best line that Kurt Cobain, because I actually have a Nirvana tattoo. I was crazy. I'm like a Nirvana crazy person.
Okay.
Yes, I saw them live too.
Oh,
Um,
that's amazing.
yes, and it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing. In New York City, where was it? The Roseland Ballroom. But anyway, my favorite Kurt Cobain line is "Get away from your home," and that it was something when I was young. Even my dad said that to me. He was like, "You got to leave your home. You're
Mm-hmm.
not a person until you get away from your home."
Mm-hmm.
So when I see these two sisters, I actually respect Simone more because she got away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like she escaped this life that seems to have trapped her sister. And I felt that Devin was, as you very adroitly pointed out, acting. It's all an act, right?
Yeah.
Like her rambunctiousness, her licking of the
Yeah.
necks. You know what I mean? Like the sneaking around, the yelling, the voices, the starting fights in front of people. It's actually quite manipulative.
Yeah. I think too, it's like when you do something for someone else, but how pure is the intention there, or how much are you going to then resent the person because you did something for them? Like her
Yeah,
dropping out of college to support her younger sister. Was that truly altruistic, like sisterly love? Or was it
exactly.
like a chip that now you're like trying to cash in on
Right.
kind of thing?
Right. And I like that we find out about that later. The second episode provides us a lot more insight, a lot more quiet
Mm-hmm.
moments where Devin and Simone can discuss their past and they get into things. We still don't know what happened to their mom.
I suspect that she unalived herself.
Oh, okay.
I just suspect by the way that
That's an
Devin
interesting way
acted.
of saying that.
I think that's the PC way to say
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I suspected it because when Julianne Moore brought up the drunk driver,
Right.
Devin was like, "Oh, right," but like
Exactly.
she was conveying that that wasn't the case without saying it,
Yep.
and it would make sense for something like that to have happened, and maybe people go different ways after something like that happens. It's my
Well,
guess.
was there, I thought that too, because obviously with Simone not taking her pills,
Mm-hmm.
having what seemed to be a definitely a panic attack,
Yeah.
perhaps something even deeper like a psychotic break, or she was experiencing some disassociation, it seemed like, when she was trying to do her job just before she ran out of the room, when her
Oh yeah.
relationship with Ethan, she
Yeah.
she saw herself on the screen, remember?
Yeah.
And for a second I was like, wait, what is that? My wife got that immediately. She was like, oh, they found her sneaking out. And then I was like, oh man. The only thing,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna keep on that. There's another thing. We'll talk about other characters later. But
Okay.
there's a history, it seems, of mental illness and mental health issues in their family. The father is different because that's early onset dementia. That can be, that's usually not connected to a a psychosis you live with,
Yeah. Part
right?
of what made me wonder about the mom, if she was in foster care, maybe the mom wasn't able to watch her because of what she was going through at some
See,
point.
that's the thing though, right? I'm trying to figure this out. If so, if they went into foster care because their mom, they say their mom left somewhere around they were like 4 or something like that. Did I make that up or did I
Oh
remember
no,
that
I
correctly?
forgot that. You're probably right.
Okay, I think they said the word. I think they said
Okay.
4.
That she left.
Because
Okay.
somehow it hit. Yeah, because I think that struck me as wow. That's really early. That's early enough to really mess. Like it wasn't like they were teenagers and their mom left. It was
Yeah.
really early, right? So I initially bought the drunk driver thing and that the mom was dead. Then when Devin kind of let it slip that that story Simone told Michaela, right?
Yeah.
Michaela,
Kiki.
Michaela. Hey, hey. I should have started the
Oh
podcast with hey,
yeah.
hey. Next podcast I'm starting with hey,
Okay.
hey. Um, I thought to myself, okay, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the mother took her own life.
Mm.
Then I started to think, wait a second. This show is nuts. Is the mom alive? Is the
Oh
mom, could it, Michaela be their mom?
no, I get the impression they knew their mom.
Okay, okay,
Also, there's a picture of her, and they say that Simone looks like the mom.
okay, okay, okay. All right,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Whew.
I
All
love
right,
a good
because
plot twist, but
yes,
I
I
don't
go
think that's
crazy.
it.
That's me, Anne. I go right for the
Yeah.
living in AI. Okay, that's
Well,
right where I go. I
you and
watched
my
West.
husband can talk about the
Yeah.
simulation
Well,
that we're in.
it's always the way I figure it is in a podcast, it's always good to cover the most extreme thing because sometimes it actually happens. In this case,
Mm-hmm.
though, okay, I'll let that go. But I do think the mom might be alive.
Okay. I'm down for that.
I think that could play into something, or that there is definitely more, there's definitely more to that story.
Yeah.
The what we both thought first does seem the obvious thing based upon the mental health issues we've seen Devin exhibit and we've seen Simone exhibit as well. And by the way, if you're not going to take your pills, why do you keep on picking up the prescription? There's a lot of pills in there, right?
That's true. That's true. I don't know. Maybe she gets them mailed to her because
There
if
you
you're rich
go.
enough, you can just get them mailed to you,
I
right?
forgot. Wait, that's the answer. She doesn't have to wait online at
No,
Safeway
yeah,
for a
someone
half an
else
hour.
does. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I swear, I think more people get sick waiting online for their medicine at a super. Do you have to pick up medicine at a supermarket? Is that
I've
how you
never
do?
done it at a supermarket. I mean,
Okay.
Target, if that counts, because it has
Yeah.
groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we do it out here. It's like at the local Safeway, and then I'm always
Okay.
waiting in line, and there's like 5 people coughing, and they're like, oh,
Oh, I know.
and I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get more sick here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we got the mom, we got the dad, we have the sisters. Did you feel like I felt? Did you have more sympathy or empathy for Simone in the first episode or Devin?
Um, I think I had equal sympathy from the beginning. Um, I think it was just with Devin was easier to pick apart because she was laying more out there, whereas Simone
Right.
was still like covering up a lot. So it was kind of easy to root for Simone in a way because you're like, she's so happy here. She's succeeding here. She has a boyfriend. Um, you weren't quite sure what you were rooting for in Devin's case as much. Like she's just trying to make a point, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas Simone's
Yeah.
trying to like preserve a life that she's seemingly happy with.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I see that too. And I didn't
Yeah.
quite understand. Um, I guess, like I'm saying, in respect to leaving their home,
Yeah.
it didn't seem it seemed to me like that was the right choice, not the
Mm-hmm.
wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
had less I kind of felt more with Simone, like you're saying, preserving it. And also in respect to their father, Simone having access to money and power would seem that in the end, if she, and it seemed like her relationship with Glenn Howerton was very real.
Yeah, I think they set it up that way in the first two episodes, right? With the I
Yeah,
love yous and everything. I think when
yeah,
you hear Julianne Moore, Michaela say, oh, he always likes 25-year-old blondes or something,
right.
you get a little curious, like, okay, is this just temporary or not? As of now,
Well,
I'm rooting for them.
but I like the way Kevin Bacon was like, well, hey, maybe one of those blondes turns him. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah.
he's right. So I thought that that was interesting.
But there's
Um,
definitely age differences and power dynamics with those age differences. I
and
looked up
money,
everyone's
yeah,
age because I
yeah.
always do. So like Michaela's 40 years older than Simone, which is a big age gap, right? To be like
That
best
yeah,
friends.
that is an age gap.
And
That yeah.
Ethan's about 25 years older than her, which, happens.
Yeah, well, you know what, Anne? My parents were a year apart from each other, and when they got divorced, my dad married a woman 20 years younger, and my mom married a man 20 years older.
Oh, really?
So,
The symmetry.
yeah, it's really the truth. Isn't that crazy?
No, I know it happens and works. I think
Yeah,
the more interesting age difference is Michaela and Simone.
yeah.
And even
That's a good one to point out.
Devin and Simone, there's supposed to be, I think, a relative age gap between them, between like 5 to 10 years, where Simone took on more of that like motherly
Definitely.
role
Yeah.
and now resents Simone for being the motherly figure.
Yeah, you can see that. And I think that that comes across and I think they explain that well too. Um I oh, I'm
What do you
sorry,
think
were you gonna
about the husband? No, I was going to say, what do you think about Kevin Bacon?
Oh, okay. Well, oh, I'm glad we're getting there. Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon in I like that they wait to the second episode to introduce him.
Mm-hmm.
They build it up. You're not quite sure when you're meeting new men. I tried to stay away. Now, I knew he was in the show, but I did a really good job of like forgetting it. So I was kind of, when he appears in the second episode, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's got to be, that's the husband. It's Kevin Bacon. And
Yeah.
he provided for me a real stability to this second episode because his commentary on Michaela's behavior and even with her sleeping in the same bed, right? She's your employee, you
Mm-hmm.
know? The conversation he has with Devin while they're smoking a joint, just the way he presents himself as above all of this bullshit. Like he's dressed more like Devin than he is.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a mirror to me to Devin.
Oh, I think something's going to happen there.
Oh, okay. I
That's
hope
my
so.
guess. Yeah.
Really? Oh, between
I
them.
think, yeah, I
Okay.
wanted her to like Morgan because he seems so nice, but I think he's too nice for her.
Yeah.
So that's my guess of where
Okay.
something might go awry.
That is interesting. I think that would be really cool. So, yeah, Kevin
But
Bacon as
yeah.
Peter Kell. Now this is all of his money, right? The understanding is that he is this great business guy. He had his first wife, who is the wife of his daughter and son, correct? Who
Yeah.
we
Yep.
have not yet met. Though I suspect that the daughter was the blonde walking away that Devin saw walking towards.
Oh, really?
That's by I don't know
Huh.
why, but I suspected that. I suspected that we're going to see that person again, and it's going to
Yeah.
be the daughter because we've not met yet the
I
daughter or the
know.
son. So I thought that was interesting. Um, the mystery surrounding his wife, when Devin brought it up, he kind of cut right through it, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, she was way too blunt. Like her detective skills are a little lacking.
they're
She could
terrible.
have she could have poked around a bit more without just being, "Oh, she's alive," right?
I really like that though, and I feel
Did
like
you?
that's why the shift in her character from almost like I don't know how I'm trying to find other characters because we've seen it before when like the gruff, lower class person invades the high class and starts yelling. We've seen this before, but that's
Yeah,
kind of the character she was playing. But by the second episode, she's like, okay, I've got to try a new approach. And it happens after she kind of makes her agreement with Michaela. Michaela
right.
says, you know, we have the back and forth. Stay in the guest house. No, now you're getting thrown out. You're going to stay in the hotel for one night and you're going to leave. No, then she swims back. Then she says, okay, she gets in a fight, right, with Simone. And then Michaela says, okay, we're going to take you to the guest house. But instead, she gets brought to the cop. What's the
Which I
guy's name?
actually love. I thought that was like a power move that I respected.
Me too. When it happened, it
uh,
took me a second. What's the guy's name?
Jose.
Jose.
Jose. Yeah.
He too,
He's
having
great.
characters like Jose and also I'm always terrible with the names
And
at the beginning.
Peter, the
Missy.
husband. Oh,
Oh,
Missy. Yeah, she's
Missy. That's
funny.
what. Yeah. The help. Like the upstairs downstairs thing. I like the downstairs people, but I like the way I think that they serve similarly to Kevin Bacon as being like kind of a mirror and being able to comment on their behavior. But I
Mm-hmm.
also like the way Jose is so ambiguous about where he stands
Yeah.
because he kind of helps Devin, but then he also just hands her over to the cops, right? Like he's
Mm-hmm.
got to do his
Yeah.
job.
Well, now
Um,
he's like handing Simone over, which I
yeah,
hated. I think he's
that's,
trying to make up for like he was kind of in trouble that Devin broke in. So he's like, oh,
yeah.
here's something else, which he's obviously been sitting on if she's been doing it all summer.
And yes, and that's another point too, right? Is I feel when I look at Jose's actions, I like that you said that he's probably been sitting on, right? Like if he noticed the camera, so there's more to him than meets the eye.
Yeah.
And I like that about him. He's not just the typical character who works for the spoiled rich people, hates them, and immediately sides with the new girl that shows up who hates them too. He's kind of
Mm-hmm.
also protecting his ass, but he also doesn't trust her just because she
Right.
sees that the rich people are crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I like that.
Yeah.
Missy too. Missy is still a bit like, hey, I got a job, and plus, like, do you know what you're walking into? Like, chill. And I've
Yeah.
seen her in a bunch of other stuff. She's a good
I know.
actress.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
She looked
looked her up.
familiar.
She has been in a ton of stuff recently, and she's really good. And she also has the ability to play different ages too. I've
I
noticed
could
in some
see
of
that.
her.
Yeah. I have no idea how old she
Yeah,
is. I love the group text chain
that's
that they throw into
hilarious.
every scene. It's so funny. Yeah. It's so good.
That too provides a. You need that in a show like this, right?
Yeah.
I think it works for the tone of
Mm-hmm.
the show.
Yeah.
And how we originally got this conversation was I was saying how Devin's character after all this happens, and then Devin becomes a little bit more. She makes the deal with Michaela, and she figures, as she says later, I'm a secret agent. I'm undercover. She
Yeah.
says that to Missy, right? Like I'm undercover. So I
Yeah.
like the evolution of coming in all bombast and then thinking, okay, I'm going to dress up now and then I'm going to go undercover. But the silly part about it is, I don't think Michaela is under any impression that she's anything other than undercover,
That I
right?
think could be debated.
Okay.
It either could be, she was an attorney, right? She sees through everything and she's playing along to see where it goes, or she has a bit of a uh, mentor complex. Like she
Yeah.
likes to bring people under her wing, as they say. And, Devin touched on that. What she say? You're merciful or something. She's like pushing the
Yeah.
right buttons for Michaela's like urges. Because we have to assume to a certain extent Michaela kind of saved Simone or like brought her under her wing and like groomed her.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it could be either.
Okay.
I think Devin's going to end up feeling conflicted about Michaela. I feel like
I,
there's going to be some time that they kind of connect on something.
Well, they are setting that up because the great question here is there's something going on, but other than being really rich and out of touch with reality and creating her own reality, what else is going on? Do you think that she killed the wife? Do you think that there something deeper happening here, Anne, or is our, which we should have already mentioned, our showrunners and Molly Smith Metzler, who originally wrote this as a play and then adapted it into a series. And we did a little dive on her, a great little dive where we'll talk about some of the other shows. Casual. She was most famously the creator of the Netflix series Made, which was a big hit. Orange is the New Black is how she started. So she's had a long relationship with Netflix. And it's funny because even though Shameless ran on Showtime, Shameless didn't really pop off, as the kids say, until it popped up on Netflix. Everybody started watching it. And then the last couple seasons of Shameless have like way more viewers than the earlier seasons did because everybody was watching it on Netflix. But she's created a great show, and now I forgot Oh, my question was, yes, do you think something deeper is happening here?
Oh, yeah, with Michaela. I
Yes.
don't think she killed the first wife. Peter said something kind of like she's gone through hard things and then he tried to backtrack a bit. There's definitely something going on there. And we can't help but think of, it's called Sirens. And she has the thing with the birds because the mythology of sirens, they were like part woman, part bird, like luring people in. That's as far as I've gotten. I'm not sure what deeper
Okay.
backstory.
Ooh, well, so the name of the show is Sirens. And when we see Sirens, because that is what Devin is texting
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Simone over and over again, it's never really delved into, but we're to assume that this is their own personal kind of like safe word, or like
Yeah,
I'm
they
in
say like they're
trouble.
SOS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're SOS, right? Like, so sirens as in woo, woo, like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
911, I need you. But then it's sirens as in the classic, the sirens of the, what is that? Was that Greek or Roman mythology? Was it
Yeah,
Greek?
Greek mythology. Yeah.
Right. The sirens call in, what was that? Odysseus?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I
Look
think
at
it's in
me.
other things too, but yeah.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, I mean
And
it's like the perfect setting, like this cliffside,
yeah, the
luring people
beautiful
in and
women
then
who lure you in, but then
yeah,
they
do
don't
something.
but I don't think that the sirens murdered you. I think the sirens kept you there forever
I
in this
thought it was that they
state.
like crashed against the rocks
Oh,
trying to
okay.
get to you, I
Okay.
think. Which is kind of like the bird crashed into the window. Was the bird trying to get to Michaela or was he trying to prove a point like
Right.
you shouldn't have let me go?
And it's an interesting beginning and ending. The beginning of the episode, she lets the bird go. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And the bird go.
Yeah.
And then to get back to her, it kills itself by crashing through the window, which is
Mm-hmm.
rather violent. I
I was
like
actually a little
this.
scared with the
Yeah.
banging on the glass because I didn't think it was a bird. I
I didn't know
I
what
do
the
not
hell
do
was
scary
happening.
movies. Yeah, I was.
See, that's the thing is, I don't know anything about this show, so I'm kind
Yeah.
of waiting for the hook. Like, I thought maybe, I thought, okay, we got Julianne Moore. She's a big star. We also have Kevin Bacon, big
Mm-hmm.
star. Maybe Julianne Moore goes out the window or off the cliff in the first episode, and that's the mystery. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Oh,
So I was waiting for somebody to die or some like White Lotus
White
style, right?
Lotus.
Yeah, I was like, okay, somebody's gonna die. But that didn't happen. So I like this theory that, and in the second episode, we have the build up to this Raptors, right? what are they? What is the group?
Peregrine Falcons.
There you go, Peregrine. That's so funny because when I was a kid, Mr. Stamey, shout out Springfield. There's a place in New Jersey called the Great Raptor Sanctuary,
Oh,
and
really?
my teacher was worked there, and I think he may have helped start it or something. And he would bring into class like falcons and bald eagles, and I'm not even kidding you. Like we'd walk around the room and we would go hang out at it was awesome. So I
That's
kind of
cool.
like that. But the whole like Wes Anderson photo that they
Oh,
take and the
yeah.
room, I mean, we haven't even, you're going
Yeah.
to talk about it on your videos, Anne, but the
Yeah, but
production
that reminds me
design,
because of Moonrise Kingdom was on
yeah,
an island. Actually,
yeah,
the topography of that was based off of Fisher's Island, where I've gone my whole life, which is really
that's
funny.
awesome.
Um, you reminded me though with the birds, because you know in White Lotus, Walton Goggins, Rick
Yeah,
identified with the snakes. So it's like, is
right.
she identifying with these birds for some reason? Maybe that they're seen as predators, but they're not. Like some deeper thing could be going on.
This is activating the mind state there, and I like this because there's something happening here, right? Like I am preparing myself for something strange or something weird to occur in this show. It has the
Hmm.
vibe. The tone has shifted a bit. It was more
Hmm.
comedic, more humorous in the first episode. The second episode definitely had that comedy and humor, but it does build up with all the guests and with the three women
Oh, they're
who
funny.
who
I like
all
them.
talk the same, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is an echoing of a cult, like, and she's saying like she's in a cult. There are evidence a little bit maybe that something else weird is happening here.
Yeah.
So I like this idea. Maybe Julianne Moore really is a bird or something. Maybe she is some mythical creature.
It's just not the typical like charity work of a kind of like Hamptons trophy
Yeah,
wife person.
it's very peculiar.
Yeah,
It's
on
very
purpose.
peculiar. Um,
Speaking of all the women that come to the house, they're all in these like floral, like Lily Pulitzer, but Julianne Moore is always like solid color goddess gown. So she's like distinguishing herself for
yeah,
some reason, which makes it feel more like a superiority
definitely.
thing rather than like, oh, I'm blending in with the group.
Well, it's like the bride and the bridesmaids,
I know, that's what I was thinking of.
right? She's always the
Hmm.
bride wherever she
Perpetual.
goes. Yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
we're so, I mean, gosh, this is what we're inundated now today, right? Like the allure of the money, 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 the rich lifestyle. And this is definitely lampooning.
Hmm.
I wonder how, if this was originally a play, I wonder
Right.
how the set design and all that kind of stuff was, because as you cover in your videos, I mean, I am floored. I think that the production design and the color choices, the costumes, everything is gorgeous. Even the
Hmm.
landscaping too
Oh
is
yeah.
really cool when
Yeah.
they show the people, and it's kind of humorous, but it's cool too when they're like dusting the big art
Yeah.
sculptures,
Yeah.
and the whole
Not to
thing is
mention,
beautiful.
was that flown in by helicopter? Like, how are they getting all of these? Right? Like,
Well,
that just to be rich in Connecticut versus to be rich on an island that's a 2 hour boat ride away is
yeah,
like a
I
different
know.
level.
That
But for
is, yeah,
context, because I recognized the chandelier in the entry has birds on it. And I know that chandelier. I was like, how much does that cost? It's $48,000.
yeah.
Just that one light
Wow.
picture.
Okay.
Yep.
All
So
right.
expand from there
There you
to the
go.
rest of this home,
Yeah,
which
because
wasn't the home they filmed at wasn't big enough. So a lot of it is set design.
yeah. Oh,
Because,
always.
yeah.
Well, listen, if anyone else recognized that $48,000 chandelier and wants to become a patron, go to patreon.com/DVR today. And for $48,000 a month, I will podcast the phone book for you. Um, no, that's cool that you looked that up. I thought just everything was great. I always assume that everything's a set, and then I have to be
Oh, okay.
convinced that it's real.
Yeah.
So I the exteriors, I'm like, they're not building the exteriors. They didn't look CGI. So I think a lot of the exterior, it's real places. You have to go back. It's just like with White Lotus, where they might shoot one dinner scene at a different hotel,
Mm-hmm.
or they might have to build a set because something happens, you know.
Right, right.
Um, but me personally, I'm always a fan of practical locations and actually going out and finding a house with that chandelier and not building sets, just because my history with film and production was always trying to save as much money as possible and not spend money. I never had budgets
Mm-hmm.
like that. But when you move into shows like this, when you have a Netflix budget or like a
Yeah.
show, do you watch The Gilded Age?
I don't know. I've never really been one for the like royal stuff, I have to say.
You will, well,
Oh, really?
The
Oh,
Gilded
no, I'm thinking of
Age,
Downton Abbey. Yeah, the
but it's the
Gilded
same
Age.
guy
Yeah.
though. It's the same
Oh,
guy,
okay. Okay.
Julian Fellows. The Gilded Age is basically Downton Abbey in America.
Okay, got it.
So
Okay.
what it does is the way Downton Abbey kind of track the end of that era of
Mm-hmm.
those huge mansions and moving into World War II and such, or I think World War One was first out, and then they eventually get to World War Two. But Gilded Age is more like how it's different in America, and if you invent something or you do a business, you could have a house like this.
Mm-hmm.
So the Gilded Age is about Carrie Coon and her
Right.
husband being new money and
Nouveau
trying to take,
riche.
yeah, trying to take
Yes.
over. But you'd love it. You should really
Okay.
watch it. You
Okay.
binge it. I'm telling you, you'll watch the first episode and like 5 minutes in, you'll be like, this show's awesome. It's so much fun.
Okay.
But the sets are absolutely amazing, and they're all built almost exclusively. They
Okay.
built, even when they
It's
have the
insane.
opportunity to use part of New York that is that old, they'll
Mm-hmm.
use a little of it and then recreate what it looked like 100 and something years ago, and it blows your mind. So the sets on this show, I'm kind of I want to take another look, but the colors, I
Yeah.
mean, Simone's apartment slash room,
Yeah.
which is as bigger than any apartment I probably ever lived in. The colors, the wainscoting, the different
Yeah.
kind of wainscoting on the walls. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Yeah. I know. I was like, you should be happy for your sister in this closet.
That's the thing, right? Like
Yeah.
that's where Devin's behavior in the first episode, and then as it progresses in the second, by the end of the second episode, she is actually, I didn't think this would happen, but she is kind of convincing me that I should be paying closer attention to like I was so on Simone's side and wanted
Mm.
her to do well. But you're feeling the same way that maybe she's onto something.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I have a sister
Okay.
and I'm raising sisters, which is terrifying to think about. It's one of those relationships where you've been probably compared your whole lives and like placed into boxes your whole lives. And so you wonder like, does Devin know the quote unquote real Simone? Or is she thinking of a Simone, from 5 years ago? And
Right.
she really has changed. Um, so I think that's one of the mysteries is like, who is the real Simone? And does she know or does Devin know better? Like that sort of sisterly understanding. Um, and then does Kiki know the quote unquote real Simone better than Devin and like the competition inherent in that I think is interesting. But because I have a sister, I think that's why at first they didn't feel sisterly enough to me. But that's hard. That's a very
Yeah.
complicated relationship to convey through acting. Um,
Well, it
I don't
got.
know.
I
Go
Oh,
ahead.
well, oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Did I
Oh
feel
no,
this? How did I
did you
feel?
find it convincing? Yeah.
I felt it evolved.
Yeah.
I really felt it evolved. Like in the beginning, I mean, she ratted her out. It was her idea to kick
Yeah.
her out in the first place, right? And rightfully so. She was acting crazy. That's her
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm sorry. I don't know anybody that could be watching this show and saying like, "Oh, she's acting appropriately," or "Get her out of
Right.
there." We didn't have enough evidence yet to think anything
Mm-hmm.
besides the fact that they're, nasty billionaires. Yeah, okay, they are. But it didn't
Yeah.
seem like they had. At one, somebody says, I think it was the boat driver. It was either the boat driver or the funniest person in the whole show, which was the lady in jail with Devin.
Yes.
At some
Yes.
point, she says something like, "To have that much money, you can't be good, or you've
Uh,
had to have done something wrong."
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I kind of get that, but the that I think that tension may have led you to not see their relationship as much.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then conversely, that distance in the second episode, when they come together, it
Yeah.
helps us see how they crossed the distance. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, that's good writing,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like
They're
it's
supposed
not,
to feel
yeah.
distanced in the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
are, right? Like,
Yeah.
not only are they living totally separate lifestyles, they made totally different choices. They seem to have different recollections or want to have different recollections about the past and how
Mm-hmm.
they got there. Which I have two brothers and a sister. I grew up with my brother and sister. My little brother is like 20 years younger than me. But I find that with my brother and sister all the time.
Yeah.
Do you find that too with your sister, where you'll like talk about something that happened in the past and they'll be like, wait, I remember it like this,
Totally. Totally.
right? And it's
Yes.
something that I've learned, and through therapy can help too, that you learn that you have to respect
Mm-hmm.
that your sibling, even though you feel so close to them, and they may have been in the same room and experienced the same things with the same parents, they had a different experience,
Mm-hmm. For
right?
sure.
Each
Yeah.
person is different, and that's part of getting to know your sibling as an adult, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I think I love exploring the sibling relationships. I don't think White Lotus hasn't done sisters, right? They just did the two brothers and the one
Yeah.
sister. I just think it's very complex. And the whole show is really about like women, power dynamics, employee, employer, older sister, younger sister. Um, so I'm curious to see where it goes. I was glad they acknowledged how different they look because
Yeah.
sometimes that can be a hang up. So I like they just right away were like, oh, she looks like the dad, she looks like the mom. It's like, okay.
Yes. Well, I think the thing too is that what's her name? Millie Alcock,
Yes.
right? She has such a look,
Yeah.
and this is used to great effect, of course, in where I know her from, and some people listening to us, which is House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, which we cover. We covered all of Game of
Mm-hmm.
Thrones podcast Winterfell. Check it out. And they that kind of fierceness that she can kind of get her. She
Yeah.
has a real jaw, right, on her. She used that to great effect. She's also English, I think.
Australian.
Australian.
Yeah.
That's what my
So
wife
she's
said. She said, I think she's
okay.
Australian. I said, okay, she's Australian. What is it? Why can't Americans do convincing accents? But
I
from
don't know.
Australia and England, if you had told me that she was, oh no, actually she is. She's from Washington, D.C., I would have been like, oh, okay. Because she
Yeah.
has a great accent, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the sisters thing, they do look different. I like that they said that. And um I like that. I like the separation in the beginning because that
Mm-hmm.
is kind of a writer trick, right? To watch people come together,
Right.
then you
Right.
feel that too. Are you
Right.
the older or younger sister?
I'm the younger.
Oh, okay. See, I'm the middle. So I'm
Oh,
older
okay.
than my sister, but I'm younger than my brother.
Yeah.
So,
So maybe I love Megan Fahey and I relate to her character in the like I would probably carry something heavy very far to make a point.
yeah.
But I'm always protective of younger sisters, kind of being able to like break free and do what they want.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from.
Well, it's a it sibling relationships are tough. And while you're watching this, there's a part of me that's saying, um, when I'm watching Megan Fate just yell at, when watching Devin yell at Simone and saying, especially when, I should say, when Kiki gives her the money, right? Or
Mm,
says, I can give you money, we can help you. And she's saying, I don't want the help. I want my sister,
hmm.
right? Like, it took me a second to kind of digest or comprehend that, because when I'm watching a show, I'm thinking very, I don't know, practical. Like,
Yeah.
we saw her home that she lives with her dad. They obviously need money and help. Her dad needs a caretaker.
Hmm.
Falafel guy can't take care of her dad forever.
No.
So why wouldn't you take the money? Why wouldn't you say to your sister, why wouldn't you go take her off to the side and go, oh my God, this is great. Okay, you've got all these rich people just where we want them. Just keep on doing this job, right?
Yeah.
But can you just help
Right.
dad and I? Just send us some money? But it's
Right.
not about that. It's her heart really wants her. She really wants to save her sister. She thinks she made the wrong choice to be here in her heart. Do you, right? Don't you think
Yeah.
so?
Yes and no. She was pretty fixated on Simone helping with their dad, like in a physical sense. So
Right.
that's why it almost felt like punitive. Like, since Devin's done it for so long, does she
Oh,
want to, it's
okay.
Simone's turn to do it,
Right.
you know? And people see those family obligations differently all the
Yeah.
time. But that's
Yeah.
no, I think we are supposed to think she genuinely cares about her sister. But she helped her sister get to Yale, and now she's like, you got to come back to Buffalo and help dad. And it's like, well, why
Right.
why do that and then be like, now come back and help take care of dad?
Exactly. But in the
Yeah.
same breath, she says that what she's doing now is going against all that she did to help
Yeah.
her get into Yale,
Yeah.
because it's not about the money. It's about her being, as you would
Oh, a
say,
lawyer.
a
Oh yeah,
lawyer.
she was
It's
going to
not,
be a lawyer. Yeah.
yeah, it's not about her being a lawyer or having money. It's about her fulfilling herself,
Yeah.
right? So Devin is all about, I'm going to do what I think is right, regardless of the law, the money, the
Mm-hmm.
rules, anything. And that is not, though that seems like that's very, uh, in a sense, she's being like kind of altruistic to her sister, like, I want to sacrifice myself for you. That is, in a way, though, just a product of her rebelling against the things that have been stuck on her.
Yeah.
It's not genuine, is what I'm trying to say, right? Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
right, it is kind of punitive that she wants her to come back. It is,
Yeah.
there's so much. That's why you can see that this was a play,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's a
Yeah, with the
lot, like,
layers.
yeah, when we start talking about it, there is a depth to this, that they've added a lot of the humor and the stuff, which I think that's why tonally the first episode, I bet you they had to really work on that. I think that there were
Yeah.
different edits and there was a lot of talk, because it does seem it is much more of its own self in the second episode. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that is the Kevin Bacon arriving.
I know. He really made it feel more real to
Yeah.
me for some
I,
reason.
I,
His like gravitas.
and also because his character is like no bullshit. He never gets dressed up like everybody else. He's, oh,
Well,
right,
he he might be cheating on his wife though. Remember the chocolates?
that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's something else going on with him.
What, explain that to me, what happened in that?
Okay, so he said, I got you these chocolates that you like in Tokyo. And she very specifically asked the location. He said, yep. But apparently, they also sell these chocolates in Soho, New York.
Oh, that's what he
So
was in.
she was, yeah, so she was having
Okay.
Simone overnight from Tokyo, the real chocolates, to compare them against the box that he presented to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she thinks he was actually in New York doing
Or just,
something
yeah, somewhere
nefarious
else.
or
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Okay. Or it could be just that he was just in some way lying to her,
Yes, about
right?
something.
Like it could
Yeah.
have been that he forgot, he did actually go to Tokyo, he forgot to get the chocolates, so he ordered them from the New York one because they'd come quicker, and he gave it to her just to cover his own ass. But
Yeah.
she's such a control freak, and
Yes.
she's do you see a lot of attraction or even agreement between them? Because they don't seem to get along. He doesn't answer the sexts. He doesn't like her
Oh, yeah.
behavior. He's
Yeah.
constantly commenting on her behavior. She's constantly commenting on his.
Yeah. I feel like he has the power, was the sense that I got. And like she's looking for more, and he's always the one that's kind of like absent.
Mm. Well, it's his
So,
money, right?
yeah, I mean, she was a lawyer, but I don't think like hedge fund money like he has. But that's a sense, she's trying, right? She's trying in a way that he's not.
That's true.
I don't doubt earlier on they had attraction and all that stuff. I mean, they're both good looking people. But yeah, he was kind of like wistfully talking about his children and how he doesn't see them anymore.
Hmm.
He's something's happening there that's completely separate from his marriage, I think. It might not
Yeah,
be an affair.
interesting. Well, this seemed, it might not be. That's right.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that's what we first think. And that's a good, well, another writing technique there. Um,
But I have to point out that Devin is not opposed to an affair.
oh,
And that's why, because Ray is married. And that's why I feel like something might happen between her and Peter.
I mean, let us not forget too, that was like her entrance was very hard, where she was kind of like, I need to put something in my mouth,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they were, that was a little strong. That's what I mean. The first episode
I
is
know
like in
that was a
setting
lot for the
that,
first
that was a
episode.
lot,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
didn't need, but then again, that reminds me a little bit of, did you ever see Fleabag?
Oh, no, but I know
Okay.
it.
Well, if you've
Yeah.
seen the first 5 minutes of
Okay.
Fleabag, you know what I'm talking about,
Okay.
because it starts like that, where you're introduced to it, like the sexuality is right there up front for the character
Hmm.
in a way that feels uncomfortable to the audience, that they are
Yeah.
using themselves, letting themselves
Hmm.
be. It's not,
Yeah.
she's not having fun on the boat with the guy.
Mm-mm.
It's some way to distract,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
It's not a healthy thing for her. Maybe it was for him, but for
Right.
her it wasn't.
And Simone points out that Ray makes her feel bad about herself, but she like keeps choosing
Yeah.
that situation.
Well, but we see
So,
that a lot in Devon, and
yeah.
that's the cool thing that comes between those two.
It's
Um,
funny because I feel like it's not a show where you start off thinking anyone's got it all together. A lot of shows there's like a bigger fall, but I feel like
yeah.
you're supposed to already feel like everyone has something else going on.
Well, maybe that, I shouldn't say, for me, that gives some room to grow,
Hmm.
right? I
I'm
find
curious
that
about
interesting.
Ethan because we haven't talked about Ethan that much. What's his thing? He's got to have something.
He seems like he did have a run of young women, and then
Yeah.
he maybe he entered into this situation with Simone thinking it was going to be that she's next door, she fits the bill, and they really fell for each other. He seems to me, I mean, I don't know if I'm missing something, but
Oh no, I just mean if he's been friends with Peter and Michaela for that long, does he know more of what's going on behind the scenes and is
oh,
he like okay with it? Or is he
I
just I'm here for the parties and like
I was gonna say, I think his attraction and relationship with Simone seems real to me,
yeah.
but he, agreeing with you, he lives in this world. There may be other things about him that we don't think are okay, right? Like that's a nice technique too, where, oh, is he tricking Simone? No, he actually loves her, but
Yeah.
he's a part of their worldwide scheme to defraud old people.
Yeah, yeah. Right. And he was nice to Devin too,
Yeah, yeah.
even though she like hated him.
He's nice to everybody.
Yeah.
I
I
see
know. I'm
nothing
saying
wrong
I
with this
find it
guy
hard
so
to
far.
dislike him.
Yeah, I not only, he's the person I like the most on the show.
Oh
I
yeah.
like him. I think
That's a
so
good
far
question.
he's been a really nice. Him and maybe Missy are my two favorite
Missy.
character, like that I would
Yeah.
want to hang out with in real life.
Who I
Devin,
like the
I want.
chef.
She's great, and she's been in a ton
Yeah.
of stuff too. She's a great actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, she's been doing comedy for years too. What was her
Oh,
big?
okay.
She was just in
That makes sense
something
because I feel like
recently.
they give her a lot of like aside one-liners.
Oh yeah, yeah. She is. I'm trying to find her as IMDb. I don't want to rate you. Um, let's see. Oh, Lauren Weedman is her name. She plays Patrice. Is the character's name? Oh yeah,
Hmm.
she. I mean, she was in. She's in every. She's in Abbott Elementary, Hacks. She's
Oh, okay.
in. Oh, she. Oh yeah, that's right. She was in Kevin Can Fuck Himself. That show that ran for a little while. Oh my gosh, she's in everything you've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, literally, she's been in
I
like
like her.
20 things since. But I was trying to think of what most people would recognize her from. Uh, hmm. Oh well, I remember she was in Looking. That was a great show. That's where I really I know she's a comedian, but did you ever watch Looking on HBO?
No.
It's about like six gay guys in San Francisco. Jonathan Groff is the star of it,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's
Hmm.
where Murray Bartlett
Oh,
had
I love
his.
him. Okay, I'll
That's
watch it
where
for him.
that's where Mike White like found him.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I'll watch it. You sold me.
yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I think IMDb is like slowing down my whole computer here. Sorry about that.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I think there might be more to her too because Kevin Peter talks
Hmm.
to her about her kids. Oh, they're
Yeah.
that grown, and we get something's going on with her, and
Hmm.
she has that. Seems like her and Devin would get along.
Yeah. She actually was the nicest to Simone also. I got the impression she knew she was in that room and wasn't telling people, right? When Simone was having like a panic
Ah,
attack. And in the
that's a
beginning,
great
she called
point.
her sweetie, I noticed,
Yeah,
whereas the other ones are like, we hate you, Simone.
yeah.
So there might be some affection there.
Man, the cell phone thing really is funny.
It's so funny. I
Especially
like it.
in the when they're in the last one when Jose is talking to her and they're trying to fix the broken window
Oh, yeah.
and he keeps on doing the text.
My
The
only
chair thing was
suspension
fun
of
too.
disbelief is like, if Michaela's that controlling, she'd probably lock up their phones while they're working.
Yeah, that's true. So they
But
couldn't take pictures and stuff like that, and it couldn't
totally,
be
or
on
just spend
them.
all day texting. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
but
I
then
appreciate it.
again, I don't know. She probably wants the Instagram pictures of the beautiful house, and it seemed like she when Devin was like kind of scrolling through, I think that
Oh
was the
yeah.
first episode.
Simone's
Yeah,
pictures. Yeah.
Simone's pictures.
Yeah.
That was interesting. All right, cool.
I
What
was just
else
gonna
have
say,
we? Oh,
oh, small
continue, please.
thing. I just don't trust Peter. Like him asking about Patrice's kids. I don't know. I feel like sometimes that's a tactic of nefarious is too strong a word, but when people like remember personal details about you to like give the impression that they like care about you or remember something about you. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying nefarious, but
No,
like
and whenever someone asks me about my life, I always think they're up to something nefarious.
if
No,
they're
I know
your
what you mean.
employer,
I know what you
I
mean.
don't, yeah.
He's trying to get in good. You're right. He is an angler, right? He works the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think he brought a stability to the show, but do I trust his character? No, because I do trust that statement that if you're a billionaire, you've got enough skeletons in your closet that got you there.
Hmm.
It's not it I don't I think most people in America are waking up to the idea that if you have billions of dollars, that's probably what you're concerned with. You're not
Hmm.
really concerned with people's well-being or welfare or, the
Right. And
betterment of humanity.
I
You're
feel
concerned
like
with getting more money.
yeah, he tries to almost give the impression of like an accidental billionaire, which like no one is,
The whole
right? Like,
Steve
oh,
Jobs
my
thing
house
with
looks like this. Yeah.
yeah, with the sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, I dress down. I wear the
Hmm.
sneaks. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? I'm too
I can
cool
make
for
my own
school.
coffee. It's
Exactly. Yeah, I
it's
can make
okay.
my own car. But how did you get here? Oh, private jet. You know,
Yeah.
like
I don't know. I'm on Michaela's
yeah.
side between him and Michaela, actually, as of now.
Oh, interest. Okay. I don't think I'm on either side.
Yeah.
I think I'm yeah, I definitely am have a healthy suspicion of both of them. And I
Yeah.
think that they are both playing a role. And I think that even I found a lot of the ways in which he kind of criticized her or put her down to be a bit demeaning, especially as you pointed out, she's trying. She's sending
Yeah.
him the sex. She's saying, "Why didn't you
Yeah.
answer? What's
Yeah.
going on?" She seems to even it seems to me that the whole Vanity Fair photos, the whole bird thing is in some way to convince him that she's worthy of this world,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we don't know the whole story yet, but from what we can surmise, he had a wife, he had children with that wife, they're all grown up. So that was some period of time in which he was known, perhaps in the public,
Mm-hmm.
as married to this woman and their family. And then Michaela has inherited
Yeah.
all of this and changed it to her. I mean, it's like the typical stepmom thing, right? Like, I got to come in and make it mine now.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Mm-hmm.
to make sure the second tribe is established.
Yeah.
Um, so I see that and that insecurity that comes with that,
Yeah.
right? Like Michaela has that she does with all her controlling, she does seem she is so insecure. She's constantly in need of reassurances and she
Mm-hmm.
sleeps in the bed with Simone and everything has to be a perfect way or something.
Right.
Um
I
so
think
yeah.
loneliness can be dangerous
Yeah.
in, with some people like this, like where they end up getting enmeshed,
Yeah.
or
Idle hands
focusing their
as they say,
time.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think she ultimately is kind of lonely. Um, yeah, but it's interesting though if her dynamic with Simone is more motherly or friends. Obviously, with the age gap, she could be her mother.
Yeah, I
But
I think
yeah,
oh, she could. And
yeah,
also, though, we know that Peter has children, but I think it's said that she does not have any children.
right, right.
So
Oh my God,
if
that reminds me in a stupid way. Did you watch Real Housewives? Were you a Real Housewives person?
am I a Real Housewives per? I watched all the Real Housewives. You kidding? You're talking to the
Wait,
right guy here.
my favorite, one of my favorite things was back when Monique was on Potomac and she had like just had her third baby, but she instead became obsessed with this bird that she bought. I couldn't help thinking of it with this show.
Oh boy, yeah.
Like the motherly instinct got transferred to this like caged bird. Um,
Ah, that's interesting, right?
yeah,
And
that's the
that
connection.
Oh, but no, and though that's really wow. That I mean, I think that says it all. That's the birds, and that's Simone, and then Devin
Yeah.
recognizes that and wants to
She's like a
take it.
caged bird. Yeah.
So then Devin even says to her, "Change me. I
Oh
want to
yeah.
listen to you." Right? Like she's
Yeah.
trying to buy into it. And then, as we're saying, we'll see whether Michaela's picking up on maybe she's picking up on it, but also the allure of being that to someone is too much for her. That even
Yeah.
if she thinks it's a game, she'll play it anyway because she so desperately wants to do that, right? To take care of that
Yeah.
bird.
And children are not as controllable as birds.
Oh,
And so I
Lord.
think that's the appeal, obviously. Like I'm not even criticizing Monique, I get it. Um,
Yeah.
and that's
Um,
yeah, but that's what Julianne Moore seemingly is doing. And then she's
children.
all well, yeah, I'm in it. So I haven't got any pets yet, but we'll see.
No. Oh, no, you're right. I'm just saying that's one of the first things I had to learn as very early on, is like the more children totally, the more you try to control, the more they don't want it. Even at the earliest age, you have to allow, right? Let it move.
Yeah, and also without going too deep, you don't really want them to be controllable because when they go
Exactly.
out in the world, you don't want them to be
Yep.
entrapped like
Yep.
Simone. So it's
Exactly.
a struggle.
Yep. Well, I found the name of the actress who played Lily Rose.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Her name is Kat Cohen.
She was on Only Murders, right?
I was trying to figure that out. Let's see.
I think she was in the last season as one of sisters, actually, who were like these movie producers, something.
What? Really? Was she one of
Yeah,
them?
I
Okay,
think so,
that's
right?
okay. I'm gonna. You're absolutely right. She was.
Yeah.
You were
It was
right.
weird to see her without the sister. I'd never seen her by herself.
Yeah, she is an American comedian, actress, and singer. Upright Citizens Brigade. Okay, so she was in, oh, all right. She was in Broad City, High Maintenance, Search Party, What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
And
nice.
was she in the Only, no, she wasn't in Only
She
Murders.
wasn't?
Let's
Oh,
see. 2020, wait, she was in Only Murders. You are
okay. I was
absolute
gonna.
Trina Brothers, the Brothers Sisters.
The
You're right.
brothers, sisters, yes.
Because my wife's maiden name is Brothers.
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, they were
Um,
good.
so it was her. Yeah, she was in Girls Five Eva. She was in Aquafina is Nora. Oh, okay. Yeah, she is. I was like, this is a ringer. As
Yeah.
soon as she started talking, I was like, this isn't just someone. She knows what she was amazing. I really
I
hope
thought
she
they had
comes back.
chemistry, actually. I thought her and Megan Fahey had chemistry. I was like,
Totally.
let her finish your hair.
Yeah. It's like, it's not done. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, but what was the story? What did she say that
She was in
Peter's?
Nexium. Oh, the story
What?
with the wife.
Yeah. What was that?
I think she was just implying that Michaela had killed the first wife.
Okay. I
Yeah.
couldn't. It was maybe because I was laughing at her that
Yeah.
I missed. I couldn't hear if she had said that the son was in Nexium or she was in Nexium.
She was in
Okay,
Nexium.
that was
And
a
she,
joke
yeah.
then. That's not a plot point. Okay.
No, I think it was
Oh,
because she was saying how she got out was someone pretended to join and then like pulled her out. So that's what gave Devin the idea to pretend to join the cult to get
okay.
Simone out.
See what
Yeah.
happens when you have someone who's too funny in a scene that I am literally
Yes.
laughing that I missed that was the connection. Okay,
Yeah.
now I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that she said that she knew Peter's son or something
I
like
think
that.
she knew one of the kids, yeah, from
Okay, but
school,
she did know
but she
one
was
of the
also in a
kids.
cult. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I really hope that she pops up again.
I know.
That's too good casting because she
Yeah.
is great. And it was fun to see someone who was more ridiculous than Devin.
Yeah.
It made tonally, it helped me a lot too with that
Yeah.
because it made Devin seem. That's what I'm saying is like, I'm coming around to Devin's point of view
Yeah.
where I was kind of pissed at her in the first episode, and I was like, "Why are you fucking with your sister? She got out of your trashy house with your dad, who, yes, he does seem to be having issues right now, but it didn't seem to be like he was some great guy before he had these issues. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
weren't living great, and your sister, I don't know." But then by the second end of the second episode, with everyone acting so fucking strange, and also the drunk girl at the jail kind of
Mm-hmm.
corroborating that this family's nuts,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, okay. And it sucked me back in to the point where when we end with the two sisters, her holding that's how we end the episode, right? With her holding her sister, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
They had kind of, in two episodes, they had brought me full circle and I was really into it.
Yeah, no, I was too. And I mean, I think how how much Simone struggled with the thought of Michaela being mad at her shows like it's not a healthy relationship. Like she's
Yeah.
basing like her whole identity in life on this relationship, and it being threatened means like she doesn't know what to do with herself.
Yep. Yep.
It's
That
not a
is true.
normal like your boss fires you and you're like, oh, they were a jerk anyway situation.
Yeah. And that's what she said. Like, this is a cult. She's taken over your whole life. You're not
Yeah.
who you were. And I guess that
Yeah.
I can see that there's times in life where you're like, I could equate it to sometimes someone in a relationship, right? Where like, well, they're
Mm-hmm.
happy. They seem really happy, but they're not acting like themselves anymore. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm like? I know this dude. He never liked going to roller skating, and now he's roller skating every night with
Right.
her.
Right.
What's and it's you even yourself. You're like, is it jealousy? Is it
Mm-hmm.
am I do I want is it control that I'm trying to control? Am I really
Yeah.
concerned? And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I felt. I think they did a really good job of building that up with Devin going back and forth, because that's why I really appreciated the shift in the second episode with her character, because it needed to happen. If she
Yeah.
had still kind of bombastically been walking in every room, you know, talking back to everyone, it would have become boring. So
Mm-hmm.
I like this opportunity for things to develop more. I do. There is one guy we haven't mentioned too much who I like, which is the boat guy. What's his name? What is
Morgan.
Morgan?
I think
Yes,
Morgan's his real name, yeah.
Morgan. I like
Yeah.
the boat guy.
I like
Uh,
him too. So she's not going to choose him. He's
I know.
too nice and likable.
I think she will though. I think that's maybe what this
That'd be
show is
nice.
about. That in the
Yeah.
end she'll come around to Morgan or something. But I just thought it was kind of cool too, because he was lying too, right? Like, my
Yeah.
boat. But it wasn't
Yeah.
his boat. So everybody is kind of in that world. If you're not in that world, you're playing around it,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole town really, right? Like they all
Yeah.
know about the house on the view on the hill or whatever. And yeah, it's really they've created in just two episodes. I was a little unsure about, while watching, and we talked too after the first episode. It's like I'm
Yeah.
intrigued, but the second episode really brought me in more, and I
Yeah.
did want to go watch the third episode. And but
Yeah.
me too. I waited. I waited.
for for everyone listening.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else? I think we did wow. We've been talking for like an hour and a half almost.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those shows where you feel like you need to touch on everybody because I think everybody has more
Yeah.
layers that are going to come out. So no, I think it's been fun.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious of everyone.
I'm suspicious. Do you do you think I wonder if this show, if anything, I'm ready to be left in suspense. There's only five
Yeah.
episodes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which we talked a little bit before. To me, I interpret a five episode order initially as something went wrong, because Netflix always wants as many episodes as they can get. But then, upon learning more about our showrunner and creator and the relationship she has with Netflix, and that this was a play,
Yeah.
I feel the exact opposite. Whereas Netflix gave her full creative control to not stretch this out an extra episode,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to give us what she wanted to give us. So that makes me happier that it's five episodes. We only have, but with only three episodes left to go, I am okay being left in suspense if anything bad actually did happen, or in the end, if we
Yeah.
find out, no, it was just culture clash, right?
Right.
Like,
Right. I'd be surprised if it was just
yeah,
culture clash.
I would be
I mean,
too.
that's the extreme. It's either from just culture clash to someone dies on the rocks, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of like
exactly. Well,
what they're hinting at.
they are, thank you for bringing that up, because they are 100% hinting at someone
Yeah.
going over that cliff.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I was on the beach and I looked up and I saw those stairs, I would just keep on walking down that beach until it met up with the land. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
That reminds me, we ended like Michaela and Ethan were gonna go for a walk along the cliff, and she's like mad at Ethan. So it's like
yeah.
threat
Oh, you're
threatening
right. Is
walk.
she going to toss him? And
I don't think
yeah,
so,
Peter did
but
give an eye.
yeah.
What I wonder. That's interesting because I think the reason why Simone was keeping her relationship with Peter, not Peter, with Ethan from Michaela was jealousy. I think she thought that Michaela would be jealous that
Oh,
she had a
because they
man.
basically are in a relationship, like Simone and
Yeah,
Michaela. Yeah.
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 What did you think? Did you think that's what it was? Or was it business? Or she just wasn't sure about him or knew about his reputation, maybe? Or,
Yeah, I mean, I think surface level it's just about her boss not wanting her to date one of like her friends. But I think you're right with now they're just it feels like they're in a relationship.
yeah.
Yeah. And but it does feel like Michaela's pretty pissed about all the things that Simone hasn't been telling her, like about her sister at all. Now maybe she has a hint
That's
that
what I,
she lied
yeah.
about how the mom died. Yeah. So maybe Michaela has like betrayal baggage from something in the past.
When she had
And
to
that's
kill
why
Peter's
she
wife.
I love how I'm like, I'll always defend the woman in the
That's
relationship.
fine. You know, that is
Yeah.
totally fine. I learned this though. I don't know if do you watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Have you checked
Oh
that
no.
out?
No.
Okay. This is a now I am a reality crazy person. I have been my whole life. I watched American Family on PBS as soon as that was like the original reality TV show.
Yeah.
And I love reality TV. And the reality TV world is mostly a world of women. It just
Hmm.
is, you know?
Yeah.
Even shows like Southern Charm that I love, Summer House.
Hmm.
There are men on the show, but in many ways, the men are the accessories for
Yeah.
what the women decide is going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And I love reality and I can gossip about it. But the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives goes to a place where I think, like you said, like you're a woman, you're going to defend the woman,
Yeah.
right? Like you have a
Yeah.
perspective. There's just a certain perspective that I can't achieve to get into that show as a man.
Hmm.
I really have
Hmm.
decided that. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard. I've seen all the housewives, everything, but to have empathy for some of the women on that show, you need that kind of like I guess you just need more estrogen or something. I don't, you know. It's just like I said to my wife. My wife says the same thing to me. Like when you talk about, you know, you're either, I mean, typically the sports or whatever or something like that. It just no matter how much she can get into it because she's a big like Duke basketball fan and all that. There's
Yeah.
just a limit, you
Oh
know.
yeah. I don't have I have a limit with sports. It's
Yeah.
pretty
See,
low.
I reached
Yeah.
my limit with reality TV when it came to the Mormon Wives
Yeah.
because let me tell you something, Anne. If you watch that show, your mind will be blown. It is like
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't touch some things.
Yeah, good. You don't need to. Teen Mom and Mormon Wives, you don't need to go there.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, that's like sad to me. But let's get back to Sirens. Anyway, we digress.
No, but
I
I like when it's women conflict that's much more nuanced than just
yeah.
fighting over a man or something.
And I
So,
have that's something for me that opens me up and I learn, right? Because
hmm.
with the relationship, the way Michaela and Simone, their relationship, it is like when Michaela comes into the room, Simone does like she changes instantly. And when they
Yeah.
got into that bed, it was really Simone climbed right in and put her face up. I got to get to the mic. Put her face up right to her.
Yeah.
Do you think there's more going on? Do you think there's a
Oh,
sexual or more
sexual?
emotional aspect to it?
I don't
but
think sexual, but I think emotional
definitely a
and like
codependency.
physical without
Right.
being sexual, I would say. Like they're
Okay.
they're stretching with each other, you
That's yeah.
know?
It verges on that, right? Like they
Yeah.
maybe toy with that a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's hasn't got there yet, or maybe it never will. It just always exists in the in between area, you know?
And I think they would be playing Simone differently if she were actually like being preyed upon sexually by her boss, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, we see she is having a sexual relationship with
Yeah.
Ethan.
Healthy seeming. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting though. But as we do, but I mean, that is, there are relationships that do exist in that nether region,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that Michaela would enjoy that too because she has the power in it. She's the boss, right? But it allows her to be a
Maybe.
little vulnerable, maybe, or something,
Yeah.
or maybe
I
it's,
just don't see sexual because I see her as too like detective's the wrong word, but like I think she thinks of Simone as this like precious thing.
yeah.
She just wants to like caress non-sexually.
Yeah, no, I see that too because even the way
Yeah.
she communicates sexually to her husband is cold and weird and aloof,
I
and
know she's a
Simone's
little
sitting next to
awkward.
her.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing. When Kevin Bacon is like, she's like, you didn't answer my sext or whatever. And she's like,
Oh
but I
yeah,
know
the
you
complete
saw it.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, that
weird.
he claimed his coworker was next to him, so it would have been weird. Meanwhile,
Yes,
Michaela's coworker took the picture and wrote the text.
exactly. And he had already said your relationship's too close. Maybe
Maybe
he
he
thinks some,
knows
yeah,
that like when he gets a text like that, it's Simone, so he's just not even turned on by it.
true, true.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Or maybe he's using that to get what he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, or to, uh, what do you say? Uh, for a reason to cheat.
Oh.
It's his excuse. Like, she's
Mm-hmm.
got this relationship, I've got
Yeah.
mine. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, it gives him a reason to go out and cheat or go to New York instead of Tokyo, or you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
interesting.
One of the mysteries is if they ever had like a real emotional connection, like him and
Right.
Michaela.
Gosh, there's enough in this. There a
There's
lot is gonna.
mysteries.
There's
Yeah.
we had a lot to talk about in this for only 2 episodes, and there's only three left. So
Yeah.
we got a lot to go. All right, cool. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No.
All right.
I
Well,
gonna watch the third one now.
I know, me too. And this is awesome. You're
Yeah, thank
fantastic.
you.
Tell us again how we can find you.
Okay, so on YouTube, it's Anne Hassis, Hassis. If you like Sister Stories, one of my most popular videos is Practical Magic. I talk about the design from that. It's a very famous fake
Yeah.
movie house. Yeah, and I most recently did White Lotus, and then otherwise, eventually, I'll do Sirens. Not with the
Awesome.
48,000 chandelier, but
Well,
some
maybe they
ideas
can
you can
send you
take
out
from it.
one. That's
Yeah,
nice. All right, and
yeah,
of
thank you.
course, the link will be in the show notes as well for those listening on the podcast. You just click on that, check out Anne's videos. They're really awesome. And this was cool. We're going to be back very soon. We haven't decided when yet, but we will decide. We'll come back very soon and we'll be covering episodes 3 and 4. And then we'll do
Yes.
episode 5, the finale, by itself so we can kind of recap the
I'm sure it'll
whole
be a
thing.
lot to talk
And
about.
yeah, and this is supposed to be a limited series. It was a play. But as things go, I would not be surprised if it's very popular that all of a sudden there's a second season or, you know. But
Yeah,
then again, we don't know how it ends. It's supposed to have this crazy ending.
right.
So we'll get to
Just
it. All
we'll
right.
see.
And this was really awesome.
Yeah,
There was
thank you.
nary a moment we didn't have something to discuss. This gave us a lot. You were great. This was a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for listening. DVRpodcast.com, patreon.com/DVR. Send us an email, dvrpodcast@gmail.com. Please click on the link for Anne's YouTube channel, subscribe, like, all that kind of crazy stuff. We'll say goodbye to both the YouTube and the podcast. Take care, folks. Bye.